Um, Early this morning, a sergeant with Columbus Police was working special duty at an apartment complex on Brady Drive that's in North Columbus. He had heard some gunshots and didn't know where they were coming from and fired back because he thought that they were intended toward him. No one was shot, including the officer. The officer did receive just some minor wounds from trying to dodge the bullets. But that's it basically in a nutshell. A lot of people called in saying that they heard multiple shots prior to the officer firing back. So we're still trying to figure out who fired those initial shots and, were they trying to strike the officer?
Do we think the shots were coming from more than one person, or do we even know that at this point?
We don't know that at this point. We know.
Yeah, did he see a shooter, or?
We don't know that as well. So the officer who was the intended target possibly was interviewed. And so that's going to be part of the investigation to see, did he see someone shooting? What kind of description did he have? Right now we don't have any description of any shooter, just multiple callers that had told us that they heard many shots that were fired.
As far as injuries, again, just to clarify, he was not hit by any bullets whatsoever?
No, the sergeant was not injured by any bullets. He received a few scrapes trying to dodge the bullets, hiding behind his car, and trying to escape the bullets that were pretty much whizzing, by his head and by his body.
Which officer was it?
We're not saying his name.
Okay.
We'll release that tomorrow, but it was a sergeant.
Okay. And which apartment complex was it?
Oh, gosh. It was called, is it Pine? It might be, I'm not sure of the exact name, but it was on Brady Drive, in the 5000 block of Brady Drive, North Columbus.
And did you mention if the sergeant was accompanied with another officer? I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, he was by himself doing special duty. So he was in uniform, and he was out, it was 1:09 in the morning when the shots were fired.
So in terms of thinking that someone was firing at him, he heard sounds, did not see any gunfire?
He heard sounds, he saw the shots coming toward him, he thought he was the intended target. So it's going to be under investigation to find out, was he the intended target, who fired those shots, and right now we're thankful that no one was injured. Gunshot wounds, no suspects, no police officer, no one suffered any injuries that we know of.
Were other people out and about in the complex or in the area who could have seen this or could have been in the line of gunfire?
That's what we're looking at right now. So a lot of people did call in. They heard many shots, some up to 10 shots. So we're talking with them to see what they heard, what they saw, especially what they saw is going to be important in this investigation.
So after Dallas, I know that you guys doubled up officers in the car. Was that not the case for special duty, or why was he by himself?
Special duty officers are hired by the business, the company that hires them. So in this case, they hired one officer to be on patrol at that apartment complex.
Now, are the rest of the officers still riding to your car?
It's up to supervisors. So initially we had it mandatory where there would be a two-person team in cruisers, and right now we're leaving it up to supervisors to decide, do they want to have multiple people in a cruiser, or are they okay with just one officer at a time? So we're leaving it up to the supervisors.
Was he able to elaborate and say if the gunfire came from a wooded area or from a parking lot or anything like that?
And that's all still under investigation, yeah. It happened so quick, and when multiple shots are fired that quick in the dark of night, he took cover and did what he could to protect himself.
And the gun was recovered, correct?
Right, there was a gun recovered at the scene. We're not sure whose gun it was, but we did recover a gun at the scene, so that's being tested right now as well.
What kind of gun was it?
Just a gun that we know of
Yeah.
that was recovered. Handgun that was recovered, yeah. So a handgun was recovered at the scene. We're testing to see, who it might have belonged to and that sort of thing.
Recovered shell casings, bullets, have any of those been recovered?
A lot of evidence, yes. A lot of evidence was recovered at the scene, so hopefully we can get some more details and to see if this was an intentional target on an officer or if shots were just fired. We're looking at all avenues.